credit, either as an independent writer or in collaboration with some other expert. So more than around 3 dozen published books, more than a dozen articles, research papers in prestigious journals, invited talks he has delivered, awards, and he knows Hindi, Maithili, Sanskrit, Gujarati, all these languages, and among yoga, swimming, mountaineering, music is also one of his hobbies. So as a layman, in the beginning I was surprised that computer and music, what is the relationship? One person is an expert in computer science, language technology, and he is interested in music also. But someone told me that language of computer and language of music is the same, that is mathematics. So mathematics is the language of computer also and music also. So that's how this puzzle was solved to me. Friends, if I keep on referring and narrating his achievements and his skills, but time will go like this. So better, I think, that I will hand over microphone and camera to Dr. Narayan Kumar Chaudhary, Research Officer and Assistant Director Administration, Central Institute of Indian Languages, to deal with his topic. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mireshji, for a very generous kind of an introduction. And I hope that I'll be able to meet up to the expectations of the audience here, as I have been given to understand that the audience today we have are mostly teachers in schools, and teachers, as I know of, are the best people who learns things and then brings the same or new kind of skills to his or her pupils. And we have also known that teachers are also very great entrepreneurs. And there are quite a few examples in the world that one can emulate. And if you go by the current standards of what we call as the success, you can cite examples of, let's say, for example, the Jack Ma of China, who was an English teacher, who was an English language teacher, and later on he turned into an entrepreneur. And without any formal education of computer or anything, he created the most valuable company in China that is known as Alibaba. And his company is still the biggest, and he himself is probably the third largest, richest person in the world. So teachers are always a great entrepreneur, and I believe that what I'm going to cover within this 1 hour talk of mine is just a pittance, and maybe I would be able to just touch upon some of the items which can let the teachers who are in the audience to have an idea of what they can do while they are teaching their own languages, and with the use of the new technologies that we have at our hand. So I'll just begin sharing my screen, and let me see if I can share it well. I'm on Firefox, and probably this might not be a very good thing. So let me try to share. Yes. Let me know if you are able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see this PPT? I have opened just one PPT.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great.
Use of ICT. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So use of ICT in teaching and testing of languages. This is a generic thing that I'm doing, but I'll try to include as much of the examples from Malayalam as much as possible. I'm myself not a Malayalam speaker, and neither I speak it nor I understand, and nor I'm able to recognize the characters. But still, I would be able to show some examples to you in Malayalam, and probably you would be a better person to judge whether I'm doing it right or wrong. So, what is ICT? Information and Communications Technology. It is simply a technology that facilitates exchange of information. Now, ICT, has been at the forefront of teaching languages since the advent of internet and its availability to the common mass. If you talk about India, then in India we can see that internet has penetrated almost every nook and corner of India right now, and it has been this situation since, say, for example, last at least one decade. I know that when we started first in 2006, 2007, at that time, internet was not that very prevalent. But now it is very prevalent, and everyone probably has kind of a smartphone where they can use such kind of information-based technology. Now, just like a language, internet also provides a network on which the communication takes place. Difference between the two modes of communication, that is, like, say, whether you call it internet or network or technology, and the human language, is that while human languages are meant for human, only human can understand the two things, internet is a mode of communication using electronic signals. So both of them are signals. The signals that you give to other human beings, it passes through, let's say, air, and creates some kind of vibrations, which based on which you get the linguistic signals, and then you understand it. Similarly, computers talk to each other by sending electronic signals. So with the use of easy to follow electronic platforms that we have quite a few these days, we can make a good use of the ICT in developing the sources to teach a language and evaluate it. Now, why is ICT so important? It is because it is more commonly accessible these days. By saying that, we mean everyone has an access to it now. Especially if you look at the Corona period, since last 1 year, we have had all our schools closed, and online classes are the new norms that we have. It also has a wider reach. That means you are not restricted to your class only. If you create some content, that content gets accessed or can get accessed by anyone in the world having an internet access. So you have the global audience. Now look at the advantage that you have and the wider reach and the impact that you can make if you're creating a good resource that is utilized by people. Then you will have a global audience, and you will not be restricted only to your classroom or to your school. Now, for an inspiration, you can think of the recent example that you might have seen in the news. Ranjit Singh Disale. Have you heard of him? He's a teacher in Maharashtra who has during this lockdown period, who has created a lot of learning content, and that has been made available to anyone having an internet connection for free. And he has a global audience, and he was recently awarded with a $1 million prize from a global agency. Now think of it, $1 million for his effort that he has put in last, let's say, 3 to 4 years. So whatever content that he has created in last 3-4 years, that has been rewarded to him. Sorry?
Hello.
Did say anything? Hello. Okay, I consider that was just a disturbance. If you are not talking to me, then please mute yourself. So similarly, you can think of another example called Khan Academy. Now, what is Khan Academy? Khan Academy is now a big company, but it was actually an effort that started with one person sitting in US, and he was trying to connect to his niece in India, and he was trying to teach English to her niece. So by way of, in order to teach her niece English, he started creating some content and then sharing with her. So what was his homework, and he created using the technology that became a resource, and when he made it public, millions of people in India or across the globe got benefited out of it. So that is why it is so important. And if we come to you, let's say, for example, the government organizations that we are working with, or any other organization, the teachers, we have, let's say, lakhs of teachers or thousands of teachers who are teaching, let's say, Malayalam. If all of you come together and start creating some kind of a resource for this particular purpose, we will have such a huge resource within no time. Maybe if you spend just 1 year with a concentrated effort, you will have a resource that no company would ever be able to create. And that would all be available for anyone to access. That would be a great achievement. And that is why this ICT thing is so important, and everyone is focusing on it. Including the state government of Kerala. I know that they are focusing more on open source than any other government in India, at least. At the central level also, they are focusing on open source and also online e-content creation thing, and they are getting awarded. So maybe if you create good content, or if you make a team and create a good content, that would be a big achievement, and you would be recognized for the contributions that you make. Now, so to delve deeper, what are some examples of the use of ICT, especially when you are into teaching of a language? So what are the common things that you can create as a resource for language teaching? So it would be first creating an online course, or maybe simply creating just an articles or whatever you prepare, let's say for your classroom, maybe a handout or some class notes. All of those can be created on electronic platforms. So you can simply have a Word file, and instead of printing it, you put it on the web. You have your own website, you have your own blog, or maybe you have your own customized online teaching platforms, in which you can have something like, say, Moodle or more Wordpress or Google site or Joomla, and there are quite a lot of other platforms available. Probably government right now doesn't provide any such platform, but there are so many free platforms and open source platforms that can be used by anyone for free. And there you can put your articles, your write-ups that would act as the reading materials for the students or the learners of the language. Then you can go for creating dictionaries or glossaries. You can say that dictionaries there are too many, but they are not always enough, because you have a dictionary that you can give, let's say, for a class 5 student. A class 5 student would not need terminologies, let's say, for example, in high chemistry or high biology. They would need small kinds of terminology. So you can have a glossary that is in requirement of all the words that would be useful for a class 5 student or a class 6 student. So you can customize your dictionaries and give the meanings as per the textbooks, whatever textbook that you follow. So you can create a new kind of a dictionary or glossaries for you. Then you can have question banks. Now, whenever I'm not sure if when you are teaching, you might be giving some questions to your students. Now, those questions you would first write, then make several copies of it, and then give to your student. But let's say, for example, if you have created once, you keep it at one place, keep it in a database, keep it in what we call as the question bank, and you can refer it. So you can have hundreds of thousands of questions for one particular subject, and then you can grade it. You can grade it as per the classes. Let's say, for example, if you are teaching class 5 and class 6 and class 7, you will have a different set of questions for class 5, you will have a different set of questions for class 6, and so on. All of these questions, you can keep it together in a single place, and whenever you want it, you can quickly find it out, or you can quickly randomize it. You would not need to spend time on creating things and then assigning it to students. Students will have it on their systems all by themselves. It may be through quizzes, and quizzes could be what? Quizzes would take the questions directly from the question banks and arrange it all by itself. Marks would also be already given, and once they finish it, automatic evaluation will happen and they'll know their results. Or maybe you can withhold the results and then tell them. And you can also give them explanations. Okay, this answer is right, but this answer is wrong. Why this answer is wrong? All of these things, explanation, you can always feed in your question bank itself. I'll show you a simple structure of how to create a question bank later on. Now, so creating teaching resources. So when you start teaching, you start with some text. So let's say, for example, if you're teaching class 5, and in class 5, let's say, for example, you have a Malayalam book, or maybe let's say, for example, you are teaching a second language English learner, someone who is an adult, and you are teaching him or her. So that would be a different kind of a course, but still you would need some kind of a text with which you will begin. So let's say you got a basic book of Malayalam that you are going to teach to your students, and you would ask, you would need that the students are aware of the words that are there in that book. Now, how would you ensure that you have a resource where the words and its meanings, as per the meanings as it applies in that particular book, is made available to them, so that they are not confused? Let's say, for example, an English word called book may have multiple meanings. So it may mean simply just a book having some pages, or it may mean something like booking a ticket and or booking a reservation or something like that. So how do you differentiate whether your textbook, in your textbook, it might have only one meaning? So wherever that meaning is there, you would need to specify that here the meaning of the word is book with pages. It is not booking a ticket. So that kind of explanation you can provide by having your own resource, having your own dictionaries, or having your own text done. So how do you do that? To do that, what you need to do is to have these articles or the handouts created in HTML. How do you create in HTML? You can simply start with a Word file. So let's say, for example, I'll just show you an example of MS Word. So let's say I'll just open MS Word and I'll create some text here. Let's say in Malayalam. Where do I have my text in Malayalam? Let's say, for example, this is a text in Malayalam. So I can simply copy this thing and let's say paste it here, make it a title, and mark it as a title part, and then save it, and save it as a HTML file. Save it as HTML file. How do I do that? More options, and I'm going to save it here. And I have got so many options. Are you guys able to see my screen? What I'm doing? Anyone?
Yes, we can see that.
Yes, sir.
Small.
Yes. So this is just a Word file. I opened. I added some text. I added some styling to it, and now I'm going to save it. And when I'm going to save it, I can simply save it as an HTML file. So you do not need to know what you say HTML coding. You can simply have it and save it here. So let's say I have put it here, and I'm going to put it in this folder, and I can give it a name. It can be either in Malayalam itself, or maybe I can simply say test Malayalam web page, and then HTML, and save it. So I have got an HTML file here. This is an HTML file. If I open it, it will open directly in a browser. You see that? So it is simple. It is not that easy. So creating an HTML thing is easy. Similarly, when you are putting it on a website, the website itself provides you quite a lot of mechanism where you can format it and do the kind of styling that you want to do. And it will automatically save the file in HTML. You won't need to do anything on that. Now that would be what you say, a reading material, the resources that you would be creating for the reading of your students. Now similarly, you can create audio-visual materials itself also. Now audio-visuals, I think many of you might be aware, because all the mobile phones are now equipped with a good microphone as well as a good camera. So you can create your own text. Let's say, for example, if you have a passage to be read, you can read it yourself, record it, and link it to the text from where it has to be shown. Similarly, if you are creating a dictionary, for each of the words, you can have a word a word recorded and then link it there. That would create as additional resource for that purpose. Now, there are quite a lot of course management tools. Now, what do we mean by the course management tools? Course management tools are like, say, for example, you go to SWAYAM portal. In SWAYAM portal, what you get right now is mostly video lectures. But a course management tool is much bigger than that. So apart from the video lectures, you can also have the reading materials there. You can have your books. You can have your chapter wise done. You can have your paragraphs written there. And you can also search for its meaning. All of this on the platform itself. If you do not know the meaning of a word, you simply hover your mouse on it, or you simply click on that word or tap on that word. You will know its meaning. And it will provide you several other mechanisms. Let's say, for example, you can give an assignment to your student. You can ask them to take a quiz, and it will be automatically evaluated, and all those things. They are called course management tools, and there are quite a lot of them available. But what I have noted here is basically the things that are freely available, which you can try without paying anything. Now, among the most what do you say, suitable course management tools, there is one platform called Moodle. Now, Moodle is an open source course making tool that has been with us since, let's say, for example, more than 2 decades now. And teachers, especially the teachers who are at universities, they sometimes they prefer to use it because based on this they can monitor the whole of their class, and you can make it public also. So whatever courses that you create, that you can put up here. Then you also have WordPress. Now WordPress is not exactly the rest of them. Whatever you have WordPress, Google site, Joomla, or your own website. They are not actually course management tools, but you can customize it and make it work like that. Now, see, for example, WordPress. Now, WordPress is simply a blogging site, a blogging tool. So you can create your own URL there, and you can have your own content posted there. When I was starting, I had done it. I mean, I can show you some examples also. Let's say, for example, this is a Moodle. I can give you an example of this Moodle course. So let me quickly go to this site. And now see this. This is indianenglish.com. I mean, this is something that is at a higher level, but you can still look at its functionalities. Now see, this is elementary English. This is a course that I have created to teach, let's say, English. And I have given right now 4 articles. So this is the English alphabet, then capitalization rules in English, then the sound system of English, and then guide to correct pronunciation of English words, and then parts of speech. I have covered only 6 chapters here. And for each of the chapter, there is some text. So let's say, for example, and I'm writing it in Hindi because let's say I'm trying to teach English to people who are speaking Hindi and they do not know English. So for them, the instructions would be in Hindi and they would be learning English. So similarly, let's say, for example, if you are doing it for Malayalam and your target audience is all Hindi speakers, so you would be creating a similar kind of a website where you create your content, your article in Hindi, and you would be trying to teach them Malayalam. Now, for after each of them, you can see that I have also given quite a lot of examples. It is very comprehensive, and at the end, I'm also able to give quite a quiz also. So if they click here, they'll go to the quiz. Quiz part will come later. Now look at this WordPress. Now WordPress is simply a blogging website, and you can just see this here. This is just an example. So this is a website that basically a blog that I started way back in 2006. So I was still a PhD student at that time, and we were able to write in Hindi at that time because Unicode had come, and it was the first time that you could write Hindi on a website and it will be shown on all my web pages. So that got us excited, and I created a huge blog with the text taken from old text. So these are not like, say, copyrighted thing. Let's say, for example, I'm writing something like Hanuman Chalisa. Now, Hanuman Chalisa is something that is a common thing. I do not need to worry about copyright. Or maybe if I wrote something of my own, I also wrote it here, and all of these things is here. And I have also given menu items to it. And all of this thing is free, and you can do it. And let me tell you one thing, I'm not a technical person. I'm not a computer science graduate. I am an English literature graduate, and all of these things I learned on my own. Because if you are able to understand what is there in the instructions, you would be able to do it. Any kid can do it. just think of it like, say, your kid. I believe that if your kid is exposed to a mobile phone, he would know, and if he, let's say, 5 years, 6 year old, sometimes you would expect that he knows more functions than even you do, because he just keeps on playing with it, and he knows to get what he wants. So it is in the same way. You can create all of your content, so your teaching material, your lessons, plans, all of these things you can create on this thing. The only thing that you cannot do on WordPress is that you wouldn't be able to create a quiz, or you won't be able to put in your own logic and do things. But it has quite a lot of things already built in. If you want to put an image, you can do that. If you want to put a video, you can do that. If you want to add an audio to something, you can do that. All of these things are available on WordPress also. Similarly, you have Google site also. Google site also kind of gives you the same kind of a thing. So let's say, for example, this is a Google site that I created for a company that I worked with earlier. And I have given, let's say, some guidelines. So there was some task, and based on that task, I created a guideline, and this guideline is available on the page, and it looks very nice. Anyone would be able to access it and work with it. Then you have Joomla. Now Joomla is a full-fledged content management system, which means that you can create a whole website out of it. But the only thing is that you would require a hosting. If you want to make it public, if you want general people to have an access to it, you need to host it on a server. And that server might not be available to you. But just in case, if your school is having a website of its own, or maybe it has its own server, or it is sharing some hosting services from some other places, you can just host it there, and it has a very good backend system. And by going into the backend, you can add your own articles. So let's say, for example, if I'm going to this Mithila Manch, and I'm going to get into its, the backend portal of it. So that backing portal has a lot of things. All this mechanism that you see is here. If I want to create a new article, I need to simply go to content, articles, add new article, and then I would be able to create a good looking web page on the fly on this page. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm saying test page. Okay, and I'll just simply say test page, and I'll write some text here. This is a trial lesson for Malayalam, and this is the text. Or let's say I'll just copy something from here and paste it here. Okay, and I'll say featured, yes. And if I save it here, this is the website, mithilamanch.org. This is on the home page. Okay, if I save it right now, it will get published, and if you refresh it, you will have this web page loaded. Okay, so it is as easy as that. I'll simply save it. I'll save it, and if you refresh this page, you will see here, this test page has come. I'll simply click on it, and you will see that text. Now this text is available to anyone in the world. Anyone in the world. Anyone can access it. If you are sitting there, if you are opening this page, you would be able to see this right now. So because this is just a junk text, I do not want it, and this is a live website, so I'll just simply unpublish this item. Okay, I'll go back to my page, and I'll unpublish it. Okay, I'll unpublish it by what? Clicking on this. So that is unpublished. If I refresh it right now, that page would be gone. See, it is gone because I unpublished it. So this is an easy method of doing it, and you can get those things done here also. Now, similarly, you can also create your own website if you know simple HTML coding, and if you know how to hyperlink some things, you can also do that. And examples would be, let's say, for example, you have a simple Sconly kind of a website. Now, this is a website, this is a static website where you create the HTML pages that I have shown you, and for each of the pages, you would be linking it. You would provide the link for each of the page. So if I click on, let's say, workshop, I'll get this page called workshop. And that is how it will go on. Right. So those things are possible with this. Now, going to next thing. Now, dictionaries and glossaries. So I hope after you do this thing, you would be able to maybe create a blog. The best, if you are not already aware of blogging or anything, I would suggest you start toying with the idea of creating a blog. Creating a blog either on Wordpress or maybe Google site, which is the easiest way to get started, and you would have an exposure on how to create your content. Let's say, for example, if you are teaching something and you are creating some new notes, those notes you can keep it saved here so that you would not need to write it on pen and paper. Or later on, suppose if you want to share the same content to the next batch of your students, you will have the same content available readily with you, and you can share the link with your new batch, and they would be able to see this. And you can keep on updating it as and when you require. Now, coming to the dictionaries or glossaries. Now, why do we focus on this? Now, as I told you that the requirements for different batches or different classes might be different. So you would be making changes or customizing it or updating it. Sorry, anyone said something? Okay, so you would be requiring to customize it. Now, how do you customize it? This you can do it by way of what you say, extracting the list or maybe something else from your text. Now, let's say, for example, you have a book in Malayalam called this. I'm not sure which class this book belongs to. Yeah, this book belongs to class 8 in Malayalam. Now, you have got a lot of text here. Now, these texts are what you say, simply given there. It is ninth? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. So, you have this text and you have got so many words in it. Now, say, for example, if you compare this book or the new words that had come in this book to, let's say, for example, class 7 book of similar standard, similar subject, and you want to make a comparison between these two and say that, okay, in this book, you have got these many new words that the child would not have already seen it. Okay, because each time when you go to a next class, you get introduced to new concept. New concept means that you are coming up with either new phrases or new words. So how would you make a differentiation between these two? This you can do it only by way of comparing a word list from this place to the other place. So the main thing is that you need to have a word list extracted out of this book. So let's say, for example, this is a 60-page book and it may contain, let's say, for example, 3,000 words in it. Not 3,000. Yeah, let's say 3,000 unique words in it. How do we know how many words are there? So for that, you would need to extract it. How do you extract it? Extracting is an art. First of all, what you will need is to you will have to extract these text into from PDF to a text file. a text file would look something like this. So let's say this is a Malayalam text file. This is a text file containing, let's say, 9,998 lines. And it might have so many words in it. If you want to count the word, you can count it also using this tool. And I'll talk about what this tool is. So you will have to extract a word list. How do you extract a word list? This you can do using multiple mechanism, but the easiest mechanism for small number of files, which I believe that you would not be dealing with a lot of text. So maybe you would be dealing with one book or maybe two book or three book in one go. So at max you will have something like, say, 1 lakh words to begin with, and then you would work on that. So for that, what you can do is to work with a text editor called Notepad++. You know what is Notepad++? You know what is Notepad?
Yes.
You know this MS Word, Microsoft Word. Now Microsoft Word is what you say as word processor. That means you create text there to be printed or to be shown to the people. You can print it and you can style in it, put styles to it, you can put colors to it. But in text files, you do not put any color. They are simple words, nothing else. So all the calculations that you do, that you will do with this text. So Notepad is a software. If you simply search on Google Notepad++, you would be able to download that. And once you download that, you can add a plugin to it that is called TextFX. I have written it here, TextFX. So you can install it. Once you have it installed, then see this. This is a text and I want to count how many number of words are there. You can go to TextFX, go to Tools, and say word count. It is telling me how many words are there. 61,059 words are there as per its current standards. Now I want to make a list of words that are unique in this file. I know that in this file there are 60,000 words, but how many unique words are there? So how do I do that? I can do it by way of simply counting it. How do I do that? So let's say, for example, I'm here. I'll go back to my place here and I'll open it. And we know that each word is separated by a space. So I'll put a space here and I'll replace it with some character called /r/n. Now what is that? /r/n means it is a next line. So I'll replace it. Once I replace it, what it will do? It will put each of the word in one line only, not more than one line. So right now you have 10,000 lines in it. So instead of 10,000, you will have more than 60,000 lines with you, and all of those would be counted. And this is a computer heavy process, because you are trying to replace a whole lot of words in one go itself. So it will, depending upon the the computing capacity of your computer, it will take some time. Now see, it is done and it is telling me replaced all 53,026 occurrences. Now these many words have been replaced. I can close it and now I know that I have got these many words. So what I will do, I'll copy it from here, take it from here and then put it, let's say, in a Excel file. So this is an Excel file and I'll want to create Malayalam word list. Word list. I'll open it and I can paste it here. If I paste it, I get to know how many items. 63,000. Okay, and it has got some blank spaces also. I do not want those blank spaces to be here. So I'll remove those blank spaces from here. So what I will do, I'll do again 2 times /r/n and then replace it with 1. And then I will have those blank spaces removed. All of them are gone. And I'll also remove the colons, double quotes. So all double quotes are also gone. So I have this list. I will go back to my Excel sheet and paste it here. So I have got a total of, I still have some more blank spaces. So I'll replace some more. Yeah, now it is all done. So this is my word list, the total number of words that I have in this file. Now, how many of them are unique? Unique means I do not want one word, like say for example, this is a word, I don't know what this word is, but let's say, how many times this word do we have? Here, or maybe I can do it entire cell. This, it is coming several times. This word appears to be a very common word in Malayalam and it is appearing several times. So how many times is this word appearing in this text? How do I know? So to do that, I need to first create a unique word list. For this, I'll just do one thing. I'll just copy it here and I'll do a formula. I'll go to, this Alt-A-M. Now, this is called remove duplicates. So in your data, you go to your data. In your data, you have an option called remove duplicates. So that remove duplicates, I'll click and it will remove all the duplicates from this folder. From this cell. I want only column B to work. So I'll remove it and I have a total of how many words? Unique words, 34,107. These many unique words are there. And if I want to count the number of words, how many times these words appear, this also I can do in Excel sheet itself by using a simple formula called COUNTIF A1, let's say 65,000, and then B1 to B, let's say 33,000. And it will give me the number of times this word appears in that text. It is counting, so it is going to take some time, so we do not need to be impatient. Uh-oh, it did not work. COUNTIF this. Why is it not working? Looks like it is not working right now. Maybe some problem with this, but it should work. Let's say if I go to 32,000 only. Yeah, so now you can see that I have counted just 500 words, first 500 words, and I know that this is the occurrence. So whatever this word is appearing 9 times. Then this is another word appearing 69 times. This is a different word appearing 309 times. Now, I'm not sure what that word is, but just in case if I want to find out what that word is, I have some mechanism to find out. I can just quickly convert this Malayalam text into, let's say, Devanagari, and I would be able to read it. This is A in Malayalam. This A is appearing 309 times. What does it mean? A. Does it mean something? Is it and or something?
But it means that
What is it?
that novel.
It's a novel.
No, sorry. That novel, you can novel.
Okay. So that is how it is coming. So I know that now these many words are there. Now, this is how you extract the word list. So let's say, for example, for each of your textbook, you can have its text extracted, keep it in a text file, and make a list of it. And then later on, if you want to compare, you can compare it against another list. And then see that these are the new words that is appearing in this particular book that was not there in the previous books that the student has already read. Okay. So going next to this thing, we also call something else as regular expressions. Regular expressions are what you say, very basic of computers, and you are teachers, and nowadays even kids starting from class 5 onwards, they are required to have some kind of a basic knowledge on computers. And regular expression is a very basics in computing. So what you saw here, what I did, let's say, for example, I found out double lines, /r/n and /r and /n. This is a regular expression. And this I am going to replace it with another /r and /n. This is next line. So this is called regular expression. So this thing also you need to, you may have some kind of an explanation. You simply search on Google regular expressions or what is regular expressions. You would be able to know and also probably use it in some use case that you identify yourself. Now, coming to creating and maintaining a dictionary or a glossary and its database. How do we do that? So let's say, for example, in class 5, you got, let's say, 300 new words. So you will give your student a list of these glossary items with this new 300 new words. So how would you create it? How would you maintain it? So you can do it using either Excel sheet itself, or you can do it using MySQL database. You should use MySQL only if you are, let's say, having a very large data set, one part. Another part, if you are trying to create what you call a kind of a website that you want to manage on your own, only then you would require MySQL. Otherwise, you won't require MySQL. You can just simply work with Excel sheet. All of you might already be aware with Excel sheet, but probably MySQL database you would not be aware with. But it is very good to have an idea about what a database is, and probably I'll give you just a snap of what that database looks like. Now, so to give you just an example of what kind of a dictionary you can maintain in your this thing. So you can have it like this. So I have already created a small dictionary database for Malayalam. So at CIIL, we have a list of around 10,000 words, which we have translated in all the scheduled languages. And Malayalam is also one of them. So here you can see that this is the language name. Reference you can skip. This is the head word in Malayalam. So we have given the Malayalam word. Then this is its transliteration. So let's say, for example, if your student is still not very much aware of the script, Malayalam script, he would be able to read it through the transliteration mechanism. And this is the parts of the speech of that word, and this is its English meaning, and the meaning again explained in well here. This is kind of a database maintained in Excel sheet. Now the same thing can be there in MySQL also. Now in MySQL, what would it look like? It would look like something like this. You can see this. So this is what you say, a kind of a kind of interface from where a database is visualized. So my database right now contains several languages, but I am showing you only Malayalam part by using a query that I am seeing here, so shown here. So I am saying select from this particular database where the language is like Malayalam. I mean, where I have specified that the language is Malayalam, and I am limiting the results only to 500. So I am getting only 500 results. But if I want more, I can simply say that, okay, limit to 5,000, I'll fire it again, and I'll have more results coming up here. And all of these would be shown here. Now, from this database, suppose if I want to create a dictionary app or a dictionary website or an online dictionary, or maybe some kind of a suggestion material for a website. So if there is some text on a particular website and someone doesn't know its meaning, he will simply click on it and he would want to know the meaning of it. So all of these can be given using this database. The information will be stored in the database and it will be fetched from the database and then shown to the user who were using it, the student, right? So this would be a mechanism to create a database for dictionaries. And as you can see that you can maintain it in Excel sheet also, you can maintain it in MySQL also, but wherever you do, if you keep on doing it, if you have a good lot of resource, it is a big thing. It is a big thing, and you can share it with someone who can either develop it, or maybe you can put it all by yourself in some kind of a database and create your own online platform to show this. Next, the question bank. Now, question bank is what? Question bank is like, say, you would often want your student to get some test. So how would you test them? You would provide them with some questions. You would ask them to answer it. The question may be either multiple choice questions or maybe even subjective also. So for subjective questions, it is always required that you read it yourself, because the technology is not that advanced yet, especially even in all the Indian languages, that it will evaluate the subjective answers pretty well. But the multiple choice questions, the true and false questions, or maybe the simulation questions, those types of questions you can create on the fly and serve it to the students, and they will do it on their own. The results will also show on their own. You are simply to monitor and see it. You can create the question banks, you can create a logic for a quiz and go to sleep. Next morning when you come, all your students have already taken the exam. They also know their scores. You simply need to see, okay, and ask them, okay, why have you done so badly? And you can appreciate them why you have done so very well. So that is how you can work with the question banks. Now the question is, how do we develop a question bank? This could also be done using either MySQL itself, if you are not comfortable with database. But MySQL, I mean Excel sheet, of course, is I believe all of you are aware of, so you can work with Excel sheet pretty well. And if not, then you can also go with MySQL if you are well versed in that kind of a thing. So how do you create a question bank? show you some example of a question bank. So question bank, let's say for example, this is a question bank. Now this is a question bank to for English learners. Similarly, you can make it for Malayalam learners also. And here you can see I have given an ID for each of the questions. So right now this question bank has got a total of 22 questions and topic is given. So only one topic I have given right now is alphabet. And what is the question type? It is MCQ, that means multiple choice questions. So it will have 3 to 4 options. The student will have to select one option. If there is any instruction, that instruction has been given here. That text is written in Hindi, but you can choose your own language. Similarly, this is a question text. So the question text says अंग्रेजी की वर्णमाला में कितने अक्षर होते हैं? That is like how many letters are there in English alphabet. And there are answers given. There are 5 answers given. So 26, 23, 13, 28, 48. Now we know that the correct answer is 26. So the correct answer is given under CA. CA means correct answer. And then the other options are simply options. So option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, option 5, like that. That has been given. Now, when we give this question in a quiz, these things would come simply jumbled up. So a user, a test taker would not be able to know. If he does not know 26 is the right answer, he can choose a wrong answer. And later on, I have given also an explanation. So let's say, for example, once he has completed his answering, then we will show this explanation that why this correct answer is the correct answer. And then later on, I have given one more field called difficulty level. So what kind of a difficulty level is this question? So let's say, for example, I can also define difficulty level in different types. So let's say if you are teaching Malayalam to class 4 student, class 5 student, class 6 student, or maybe a bachelor's student, or maybe a master's student, you can accordingly set the difficulty level. So let's say, for example, if you are creating a question that is meant for class 5 and below, then you can simply filter it from here and say that I want questions, 10 questions to be given in this quiz which are below basic level or below class 5 level, and that will be generated automatically from a list of questions that may have thousands of questions, and you will have an on-the-fly quiz already created, and student would be able to do that. Now, a sample of question bank. Sample of question bank, I had told you earlier that it is not possible to create it in create it in Excel file or in WordPress website, but it is possible in question bank. I have already done it. Okay. So I'll give you an example of how it is done in Moodle. So Moodle, I have told you that it is a kind of a course management software. So here, if you look at this place, you will see that we have got questions. Now see, in this question bank, I have got 320 questions, and here I have got these questions. You can look at them. So this is just one part. This question is for article. So if I have given a chapter on article, my chapter on article on my web page will have a quiz based on article. So I can create a quiz based on the use of articles, and that question is here. If you want to add more question, you can add more question. If you want to edit it, you can simply click on it and say edit question, and you would be able to see what are the options that are given here. Now see, I'm showing here default category, question name, it is plural. This is the question text, and then marks is also given, default mark is given as 1, and then I have given the option to choose or shuffle. So shuffle is what? The A bus back for what? Because it is a multiple choice question, so I have given several options here, and all of these things are there. And if you want to preview it, how this question will look like, this is how this question will look like. So this question is, what is blank bus doing here? Now, which one do you want to choose? You want to choose D for A, back, bus, and what do you want to choose? We know that this is an article question, so we need to choose an article. So either A or an or the. So what is A bus? I'll just simply say select A. Keep it here. See, it has moved, it has gone here. Does it look good? It looks good. And once I have done that, then I can say that, okay, submit. And then it will be done. Okay. So this is how this question bank will look like. And I can keep on adding more questions to it. I am not going to save it, so I'll cancel it for now. Similarly, if I want to add more questions, I can add more question. I can simply click on this create new question, and I have so many question types given here. See, multiple choice, true, false, matching, short answer, essay, whatever type you decide, all of these questions are given here. And you can create these questions, and it will be part of either an assignment or maybe part of a quiz later on. What will you choose? Then, how do you create the quizzes on the fly? So, for here also you have the mechanism, because you have your question bank already configured and which has got a lot of questions. So I can create a quiz. So let's say, for example, if I were here, let's say in Angrezi Varnawala, and I go to this page to have a quiz here. See, I have got a quiz here, the English alphabet quiz. If I click on it, then I will be taken to this quiz. I'll say continue the last attempt, and I'll say क्या रोमन लिपि केवल अंग्रेजी में लिखी जाती है? So is it true or false? Let's say I'm saying it is false, or I'll just simply say choose something. And I have got how many questions are there? You see, there are 10 questions here. Okay, so I'll just quickly finish all these 10 questions by choosing something. Let's say I'm choosing A, and for each of the answers I'm using this A. And you can see the result that I get. So A, and then here A, and I'll say finish attempt. Once I say the finish attempt, it is showing answer saved. Okay, submit all and finish. Should I submit? If I submit, I will be given with the result. So I'll submit all and finish. It is asking me to confirm again. I confirmed it, and now you see the answer. See, what is it showing? The first answer is correct. It's saying ha. I have given an explanation. That explanation is shown here. Second answer is also right. Third answer is wrong. Okay. Fourth answer is wrong. Fifth is wrong. Sixth is wrong. Seventh is wrong. Eighth is fine. Ninth is wrong, and 10th is wrong. Okay. So this is what I have. And you see, the score is also given. I started on Monday 11 and finished Monday 11 itself. I completed it. And how much time did I take? 6 hours and 58 minutes, because I've been logged in on it for a long time. And the grade that I have got is 3 out of 10. That is like 30%. So I took this quiz and I passed with just 30% of the marks. So I can add additional message to it. I can tell the student that no, your alphabet is not good. you need to work more, you need to do more practice, and then come back and then again retake the quiz. So I will be given a chance to retake the question. The next time when I come, it will not be the same question. It will be a different set of questions, because in alphabet, I have given a lot many other questions also. So that is how my quiz will be created on the fly. Yes. So that is what I have. I hope you would have something, you would learn something, and maybe you can also practice some of the things. I know that if you have taken some notes, probably you may do some search over the internet on some of the things that I have talked about, and you can learn things on your own. And of course, if you have any other questions, you can send to us, you can mail us, you can talk even to the NTS people, and we'll see what best we can do. Thank you. So I'll stop presenting now.
The session is open for discussion. Please ask your doubts.
Sir,
Yes.
you introduced some website. May I know that is this all websites are free of cost?
Yes. WordPress is free. Google site is free. Moodle is free also, but Moodle requires what you say hosting services. So you would need to host it at some place before you start creating content on that. Moodle and Joomla, these two are the things that would require some kind of a hosting. But I believe what you can do is that, let's say, for example, even if it is hosted at one place, what you can do is that you can have multiple courses created by different teachers. So let's say, for example, if I have one website hosted at one place, one teacher may come and start hosting their own content on that page with a separate account. If you don't have any such mechanism already done, then you can let me know, and I will try to ensure that you get some account created on some Moodle platform where you can have your teacher's account created and you can create your own content for your own students.
Sir, we have so many materials in PDF files, sir. Sir, we are feeling difficulty to copy the Malayalam font to any other word or document.
For that, I forgot to talk about. I think Malayalam OCR is working fine, I believe. Okay. Malayalam OCR. So there is an OCR tool, optical character recognition tool, available, and you can use the Tesseract. You can write it down. TESSE.
Okay.
RACT. Tesseract.
Okay.
Tesseract is a tool using which you can give an image file to that tool and it will create the text and then it will give you the text. But there might be errors in that. So those errors probably you will need to curate. You'll have to proofread before it is done. Used one part. Another part, at LDCL, we are also interested in text. So if you know that there is some text or PDF files that are copyright free or that can be used by government agencies. Let's say, for example, if Kerala state government has published some textbook and you want those textbook to be converted into text, then probably at LECL also we can do it. We can do it and we can provide you the text. You can simply send an email to us and we have some resources. We'll ask them to spend time on it, create the resources, make the text, and those texts probably we cannot distribute it because the copyright would still be with the state government. But still, we would probably be able to distribute it for free without taking any charge from anyone. And that would be only a service to the people. That we can do.
Okay, sir.